Hello, um, and welcome to Alternative English CIA Part 3B. My name is 1633473. So today I will be talking about the perspectives of three great personalities uh, who are Bernard Furno, Roderick Nash, and Wayne Deloria. Um, on Ramchandra Guha's three environmental utopias. So we have known that what Ramchandra Guha says is that the ongoing debate on environment has largely an American stamp to it, and I find that very ironic because one of their presidential candidates right now believes that climate change is not real. So it is high time that we understand different perspectives to this debate, and that's why he talks about the three utopias. But you already know what those three are, so I will not talk about it more, and we'll move on with the three perspectives that I'm going to bring into. First perspective is of this man called Wayne Deloria. So Wayne Deloria was a lawyer, an author, historian, and an activist, and he's widely known for his book called Custer Died for Your Sins, an Indian Manifesto. So he's known for having supported this Native American movement, which was fought by Native American tribes, or they're called Indian tribes, um, to claim back their land from the federal government. It's famously called the Alcatraz Red Power Movement. Wayne Deloria supported the whole cause of the tribes, and he was for subsistence, living, and sustenance farming, and all of that. So it would be safe to conclude that he had like um, a slightly agrarian view and a and a view slightly inclined towards wilderness thinking. The next perspective that I'm going to bring into is that of Bernard Furno's. So Bernard Furno was the chief of Division of Forestry of the United States from 1886 to 1898. So he was this German who got married to an American woman. So he went and worked. So he started staying there in the U.S. And then he was very interested in scientific forestry. So he brought about the principles that he learned that were practiced in Germany to the United States. So he contributed a lot, and he was this person who did not favor like any of the three utopias that Ramchandra Guha talks about. If he were alive today, he wouldn't do so, because he was somebody who always believed in the judicious manner in which resources could be used, and uh, he he spoke back then. He through his research he came to know that uh, forests and climate had some relation, but he could not unfortunately establish any concrete relationship between the preservation of forests and climate. And this was back in the early 1900s. So it's actually a great achievement for him, and because right now we know what role forest plays when it comes to when it comes to climate change or whatever. And okay, so yeah, so coming to the point, he wouldn't favor either of the three utopias. He wouldn't be inclined towards any, because he believed in striking a balance. Okay, so, and the last but not the least is Roderick Nash. So Roderick Nash was is a professor of history and environmental studies, and I read one of his essays, and it's called "The Value of Wilderness." Yeah. this is where he talks about the whole idea of wilderness and how it's associated with not being with wilderness is something not being civilized. Um, so okay, and I also like the way he mocks, uh, the British who actually went and settled in the United States back when they thought that it was India. Yeah, the whole of the 17th century, and then they tried to civilize the land that they were in. So they wanted to. They did not want the Red Indians to be there, and they wanted to destroy the forest and bring and then basically get away from wilderness. Um, so okay, yeah, coming to the point, um, Roderick Nash is a very realistic person. So he believes that preservation for sustenance of the present generation itself would be a huge success um, in conserving the environment, because he believes that it um, that any of the three utopias may not be possible, but the whole concept of not having an American stamp on the debate, he's contributed to that perspective as well. Okay, so I read this other book called Small is Beautiful. So this was written in back in the 1970s, but it still holds true to the debate between using resources um, judiciously in order to conserve the environment, and yeah, all of that. So here the author talks about the whole idea of separatism. So um, like the whole debate of man versus nature doesn't make much sense, is because man is a part of nature. So one of my classmates already said this in class, so I completely agree with her. um, I believe it is completely all right to be selfish, and since man is a part of nature, and the whole concept of preservation came because man might perish without nature. So it's completely okay to be self-centered about the whole thing, and understand your dependency on on environment, and the whole concept of interdependence and how we coexist, and preserve and conserve the environment, keeping that perspective in mind. So yeah, man is not separate from nature. Okay, this was, I've exceeded by 6 minutes. I hope I don't get negative marking. Thank you.